But I remember watching that video of him interacting with those police officers and his level of charm and patience in that moment. And you can be that way with someone who is violating your rights and really putting you at real risk, but you don't have the wherewithal to take a different tone and approach with your partner. That is a little bit off-putting for me. This is kind of how the beginning of Antonio Brown started, right? This is how AB started out. These small incidents kept stacking up, and at a point it's like, oh, like something really wrong with you. Tyreek Hill has had an interesting couple of years, man. From spitting out babies like a seahorse with different women, all while being married, to demanding a trade, then rescinding that ask, then asking again. And let us not forget his run with the police before a game last season. Hill, who was unquestionably one of the most dynamic talents in all of football, is really hard to figure out at times. It's like, is he the Elon Musk of the NFL? I can't understand whether or not he's a supervillain or a good guy sometimes. And the answer probably lies somewhere in the middle. With all that said, Tyreek is getting my fumble of the week for an incident that reports are saying took place at his Florida home. Officers were called to his residence after his mother-in-law phoned in a domestic dispute alert to local authorities. Now, it's alleged that Hill threw a laptop and snatched his child away from his wife, Keita, whom I've met and is very nice, very kind, very sweet. The officers ended up leaving the scene without anyone being arrested. And while we obviously do not have all the details, you'd hope that at this stage of life, Tyreek wouldn't want to be involved in any situation that even feels like the police need to be called. And now he has just one more incident that puts a cloud around his name. And on top of all of that, his wife has filed for divorce. So, Samaria, what are your thoughts on the latest allegations against Tyreek Hill?
Rodney, first of all, you cannot start your fumble of the week like that. Because that is the truest thing I've ever heard. And then I'm trying to be serious because that is such a serious situation. The police being called, him cutting up or whatever. I'm happy for Keita. I don't know Keita, but I did watch a little bit of the clips from Wags to Riches. And so I saw her on there. You could see some of their relationship dynamic on the show. And like you said, she does seem really, really nice. And she obviously is extremely supportive of Tyreek Hill through all of his shenanigans over the years. And I mean, this is clearly a woman that has had enough. And yeah, crazy enough, I just saw this video on Threads. It's actually from one of the local stations down in Miami. And it's exclusive video. I don't even know how they got this, but it's showing Tyreek actually on the balcony with Keita and their infant daughter. And it's really scary. Obviously, it's kind of grainy. You really can't tell what's going on, but you can see them too on the balcony. So all of this whole situation is just really crazy. And I'm kind of scared for Tyreek and Keita right now.
I don't understand. I just don't get it. At a certain point, right, when you've accomplished so much, and I know that accomplishments don't necessarily change who you are inside. I recognize that. But I remember watching that video of him interacting with those police officers and his level of charm and patience in that moment, right? Like he didn't turn up. He was very mild-mannered. And you can be that way with someone who is violating your rights, right, and really putting you at real risk, but you don't have the wherewithal to take a different tone and approach with your partner. That is a little bit off-putting for me. And again, I don't know this woman. I don't know what happened. So I don't know her to her core. I've met her. We've been in a car together. We've gone to a football game together, not as a date, but just on some like cool stuff. We have a mutual friend who works in the league, and she may have turned up. I don't know, but you gotta have the same level of tenacity that you have on the field, the ability to elude defenders on the football field. You got to be able to elude incidents that the police get involved in at this stage of your life. You have too much to risk. There's so much money on the line. And this is kind of how the beginning of Antonio Brown started, right? This is how AB started out. These small incidents kept stacking up, and at a point it's like, oh, like something really wrong with you.
Right. And maybe they need to have, the NFL needs to investigate, and maybe they need to have the same approach that the NBA is having with Ja right now. Like, I mean, every time you keep doing stuff, we on your ass.
Well, I don't want to
because you're not
compare.
No. You're not
Okay.
learning, and that's what I'm saying. And I feel like a lot of people, like the NBA, is doing a lot with Ja, but you got folks over here in the NFL that's cutting up for real. Like you're historically cutting up, and you're not being reprimanded
We know the NFL is very lax
for domestic violence issues.
for a slew of things. You know, I've seen a murderer turn around and be one of the faces of the league, and so that's just always kind of been the NFL's approach to handling incidents within the league by players who are exceptional on a personal level, man to man. I would hope that Tyreek seeks out any help that could help him change his fortune in the direction of events that seem to be continuously happening in his life. He's a special talent. He has a very magnetic charm and glow about him. So it's almost hard to envision a guy with that smile, you know, with that exuberance, have an incident like this. It's like, man, like which one is the real you? I don't know. But I hope he gets help. That's always going to be my hope and desire. But no one was arrested, so maybe he didn't do anything that wrong. But I don't know.
I mean, he is Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, but he was arrested before a game as Tyreek Hill. So
he wasn't arrested; he was detained.
Okay,
and security came and got him out of that.
Okay, sure, true indeed. But I'm just saying, like, being who he is does not necessarily, mean that he's gonna be not harassed by police officers or taken into custody. I'm just saying. I want the best, man. Keita, like I said, every time I met her, she's been cool. She has a twin sister. They're good people, man. But also to do that in front of your children, his children were present. You don't want to expose your children to these kind of things. You know, this is not good. It's unhealthy. And so you don't work this hard to escape your origins, right? The environment that you were born into. You don't work this hard to escape that, to then put your children in a very similar and parallel situation, the one that you bust your ass to get up out of. And the emotional damage and the mental damage and anguish that you put your child through by virtue of seeing you and your spouse go at it like that lives in the cells of your children, and I don't want to overparent, but that's just the reality of it. Yeah, that's
you
just
learn
what
that
happens.
in therapy, the formative years. If this is what you see, that will literally affect your entire life. Exactly. People are in therapy right now, undoing things that they saw their parents doing.
The normalized chaos. The normalized chaos of it all. So I wish him well. I wish his family well. And I wish there's no more incidents like this for Tyreek Hill. With that said, you all let us know your thoughts about my fumble of the week. And also me comparing Tyreek Hill to a seahorse. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. He do be spitting them out. Baby.